Every hero in this show is a real person, a real kid. In this story, every bit of it really happened. This story starts out in one of the most ordinary places in the whole world. A place I'm sure you're very familiar with. A classroom. Now, close your eyes and picture it. It's December in England. Outside the windows, it's gray and chilly. Inside, there's a class of 10-year-olds sitting at their desks in a school called Danes Hill. It's geography class. You know, the class where you learn about the earth, mountains and rivers, and oceans and weather. Their teacher, Mr. Kearney, walked in carrying a tray. And on that tray sat a little house, 3 stories tall. But it wasn't a real house. It was made of polystyrene. That's the white, squeaky, super light stuff that keeps a new TV safe inside its box. And Mr. Kearney says something like, "Let's shake it." So they shake the tray. And the little house wobbles and falls right down. That, says Mr. Kearney, is what an earthquake does. An earthquake is when the ground itself shakes. But then he asked the class a question. What happens if there's an earthquake under the ocean? Have a think. If the ground shakes at the bottom of the sea, what happens to all that water sitting on top of it? Well, it moves. All of it. And it can make a special kind of giant wave. It has a special name, and it's kind of a fun one to say. It's called a tsunami. Now, at this point, Mr. Kearney played the class a video so they can see what the ocean looks like when a tsunami is on its way. And through this video, the class learned something surprising. Before the giant wave arrives, the ocean starts acting weird. It stops following its own rules. The water might rush way, way out, or it might keep creeping in, and never slide back out. And the top of the sea can go frothy and fizzy with white bubbles like a shaken up soda. But anyway, back to our story. In this class, on this day, behind one of the many desks in that classroom, sat a girl named Tilly Smith, 10 years old. And Tilly was doing something that looked like nothing at all. She was listening. And thank goodness she was. Two weeks later, school let out for the winter holidays, and the Smith family packed their suitcases for a very big adventure. A family trip almost all the way around the world. There was Tilly, her mom, Penny, her dad, Colin, and her little sister, Holly, who was 7. They flew to a country called Thailand, to a beautiful island called Phuket. And, you should see this place. If England in December is gray and drizzly, Phuket is the opposite of that. The sun is warm, the sky is big and blue, and their hotel sat right beside a beach called Mai Khao, a long, long ribbon of soft white sand with palm trees and clear blue-green water that goes on forever. The family was having the loveliest week, and on Christmas Day, they even celebrated right there on the beach. Imagine it, Christmas with sand between your toes. Now, the next morning after Christmas, December 26th, in England, they call it Boxing Day. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, and before breakfast, the whole family went for a walk along the beach. Mom and Dad, Tilly and Holly. The sky was clear. It was a completely calm, completely perfect morning. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever stood on a beach and watched the waves? You know how they work. A wave slides in and slides back out. In and out, in and out. The ocean breathes, almost like you do. It's been keeping that rhythm since long before any of us were ever born. Well, that day, Tilly was walking along, watching the water. And then she noticed something. The ocean, it wasn't breathing right. The water slid in, but it didn't really slide back out. Then it came in again, a little further up the sand. And again, further. And again, further. In, and in, and in. And there's something else. Out on the top of the sea, the water had gone frothy, fizzy, covered in white bubbles. Tilly stopped. Water that keeps coming in and never goes out. White, fizzy froth on the sea. Where has she seen that before? That's right. The video in Mr. Kearney's geography class 2 weeks ago on the other side of the world. Deep in her tummy, Tilly got that feeling. You might know that feeling. The one that whispers, something is wrong here. So, Tilly did exactly what you would do. She told her mom. She said she thought something was wrong with the sea. She thought a tsunami might be coming. And her mom? Well, her mom didn't really believe her. And you know what? Let's be fair to Tilly's mom for a moment. Imagine that beach through a grown-up's eyes. The sun was shining. The sky was blue. Everything looked perfect. And your 10-year-old is telling you a giant wave is coming? Most grown-ups had never even heard the word tsunami back then. It wasn't a word people knew. But this was the moment, right here, where Tilly became a hero. Because being a hero isn't always about being big or strong or fast. Sometimes being a hero is about not giving up when nobody believes you. Tilly kept watching that water, and it kept coming in. And she got more and more worried. And instead of going quiet, instead of thinking, well, I'm just a kid, I must be wrong, Tilly did the opposite. She ran back up the beach with her dad and her little sister, and they found a grown-up whose job was to keep people safe. They found the hotel's security guard, and her dad told the guard, "Hey, my daughter thinks there's going to be a tsunami." By now, Tilly's mom had come running back too, and Tilly was not being quiet anymore. Not one bit. She was shouting. The whole family was shouting. And the other people on the beach started turning their heads, wondering, what was that family so upset about? And then, right at that very moment, a message reached the security guard. A message from far away. There had been a giant earthquake under the ocean, and a tsunami was on its way. Tilly was right. Everyone ran. All along the beach, people scooped up their children, grabbed their towels, and ran away from the water, toward the hotel. About 100 people, hurrying off that sand together. Tilly and her family ran too, into the hotel, and up to the lobby, which in that hotel was high up on the 3rd floor. And from up there, safe above it all, they looked back at the beach. And the sea rose up. A huge wall of water rolled in, right over the sand where they had all been standing just minutes before. Over the spot where the family had walked. Over everything. But here is the most important part of this whole story. Are you listening? Everyone on that beach was safe. Every single person. The moms and the dads. The kids. The security guard. Everyone got off that beach in time because one 10-year-old girl noticed the ocean acting strange, remembered her lesson, and would not stop until the grown-ups listened. Now, I have to tell you something true, because On this show, we always tell the truth. That giant wave didn't only visit Tilly's beach that day. It traveled across the whole ocean to many countries, and it hurt many, many people. It was one of the saddest days the world had had in a very long time. Lots of families needed help, and people from all over the world worked together for a long time to help them. Tilly's family stayed somewhere safe on a hill, where kind hotel workers took care of them. And when Tilly finally flew home to England, she understood that something very big and very sad had happened, and that her beach, her one beach, had been one of the lucky ones. And people started asking, why was that beach lucky? And the answer was Tilly. When the world found out what Tilly had done, some pretty amazing things happened. Letters started arriving at her house, piles of them, from strangers all over the world saying thank you. One family even wrote to say they'd named their dog after her. She got to travel and meet very important people, including a president of the United States, Bill Clinton, who was helping countries recover after the tsunami. A newspaper in France named Tilly Child of the Year. And this is my favorite one, so listen close. Scientists gave her the biggest thank you gift I have ever heard of. They named something after her. And not a street, not a building, a tiny planet. It's true. Way out in space, right now, circling the sun, there's a little rocky world officially named Tilly Smith. When you look up at the sky tonight, it's out there. People started calling Tilly the angel of the beach. And when Tilly grew up, do you know what she chose to do? She travels around telling grown-ups, important grown-ups at the United Nations, one big idea. Teach kids about the earth, because kids listen, and kids can save lives. Oh, and one more thing, because I know you're wondering. Tilly's family still goes back to that same beach in Thailand. And the security guard from that morning, he still works there. And every time they visit, they stop and say hello to him. Except now, on that beach, there are big signs. Signs that teach everyone the warning signs of a tsunami and show them exactly where to go to be safe. So no one ever has to be the only one who knows. So here's what I want you to remember from Tilly's true story. 2 things. Number 1, pay attention in school, even on the days when a lesson seems like it will never, ever matter. Tilly's lesson mattered exactly 14 days later on a beach on the other side of the world. And number 2, and this one's even bigger, if you ever notice something wrong, say something. And if the grown-ups don't listen the first time, say it again. Because you don't have to be big to be a hero. You just have to be paying attention. This has been another episode of The Kid Who, where every hero is a real kid. Everything in today's episode comes from true accounts, including Tilly's very own telling of her story, which she shared with the United Nations. Grown-ups, you'll find all our sources in the show notes. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time for another episode of The Kid Who.